I first started doing video games in 1999. I know.
That's right, it was only 10 years ago.
I don't want perfect in my art.
No.
I do not want it. And I find it all a bit embarrassing and stupid, frankly. Don't replace humans with AI. That is dumb as hell.
Normally it was like, okay, good, moving on. Yep, no, love that. We'll take the second one. And she just went,
I can say that.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah, what are sort of those different skills you tap into with video game acting? Because I mean, even just being here, it's like amazing. And I mean, Doug was showing me, and I'm like, I cannot do this. It's so difficult. But yeah, what kind of skills do you have to tap into?
I think, again, it depends on what they want to do, but you certainly have to use your imagination because you're not getting set or props or costume. In fact, you're kind of having to do everything to forget that there's no set or props, or the fact that you're in a very unflattering suit most of the time. And then probably the director is feeding your lines, probably going line by line as well. So there's that, and it's out of order. Which I quite like. I like the puzzle of going, oh, that was page 36. That's what happened when you go left instead of right, you know, when you work it out later on.
Oh, interesting. So it's like, it's not like they might be saying this is your next line.
No, they might give you a context for why that was said, and then you might go back to it and be like, okay, there might be 3 different strands of narrative. So one will be a kick-off or a step up to another journey. And then you have the same line meaning 3 different things to move you in different directions according to where the player's going to go. But yeah, that's great.
Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, I think also it's knowing yourself as a performer as well. Like, what is your template? What's your natural way of being when you're not acting? And then knowing how to dial it up and dial it down, because every character might need that. And also every production, they might be like, okay, yes, it is very cinematic, but this is a point where it's going to be a bit more heightened. So we need you to proportionally put it to a point where it's still believable, but slightly more heightened. And I think if you know the given circumstances and you've made your character choices and then you know how far you can go with things, that's when you can start to blend and you can make things believable in whatever, I'd say, style that you're performing in. And that can be a game, that can be theatre, that can be film. That just comes down to us being actors and understanding psychology, humanity, how people move and character. And then you just bring that into all of it.
So you can play a golem. Yeah.
You can play a golem.
Play a creature.
Yeah. What is the objective? They're precious. That is it.
I mean, more specifically, I found Mask to be very useful in Baldur's Gate 3 because there was no facial capture, right? And it isn't just your voice, it's your body. So your body's giving something to it, but it also needs to be a little more heightened, as if you were on stage, they can see you at the back, but to give the animators something to work with as well. So, like, to specifically answer what skills I was using, it went back to theatre skills that I never thought I was going to use. And Laban is another one, which is a quality of movement. So for Carla, it was pressing, because being that big and flapping about looks really scary. So we had to give her that weight. And it's like we can tap into that because of that training. We speak that language. They don't have to draw a grid and go, well, that means sustained and heavy and directional. You just go pressing and you've got it. So there is like this shorthand to a theatre trained actor or physically experienced actor. That just sort of taps in. Time is money in the studio. You just got to get on with it. So yeah.
And also motion capture, you cannot hide. If there's a moment of you not being authentic, of you not really being truthful, there's no mid shot or like close up. Your entire body will give you away. And so I think I've certainly improved as an actor because of it, because I have to really connect to everything in my body, not just in my voice and my face as I would on film, but like my entire body. There's no props to hide behind. There's no furniture. There's not even another actor most of the time. So yeah, you have to be so truthful, and my God, can you see it? You can, and like I've directed as well, and I was directing the voice, not the movement, but you can see it in the Power Ranger, as we used to call it, like the kind of version, and you can see when an actor is really connected to what they say and when they are flailing, which it's a really scary thing, especially for a new actor to go into. And I think most brilliant video game actors can do anything. They can do theatre, they can do film, but not every film, and especially film actors, can do video games because it's so physical.
They tend to act with their eyes.
Yeah.
I've done audio dramas and had that and watched some A-listers really flail in the room because they haven't considered this is a different medium. And that's all it is. It's a different technicality. I think Jennifer Hale teaches people that, think of the microphone as the camera, and then they get it. But that's a great bit of direction, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that helps. But I've watched people that I've quite admired. Oh, okay.
Like
Interesting.
the rest of your body feels disconnected, but your eyes are on fire.
but even when we're just doing voice, if we're not doing a mocap job on a video game, I physicalize everything.
Oh yeah,
because if you're just sat perched
it.
on the edge of a stool, it sounds utterly shit, if I can swear.
I can't sit and do voice work.
No.
It's focus on voice work. I have to stand, unless I'm in my home studio. I can't stand there, so I sit on the edge of the chair, and my legs are like very active under the desk.
But you inform your body with what that character's going through. Like even if you're sat and they're running, you have that impetus, you have that energy in there. Otherwise, I'm with you. I can't connect. I feel too relaxed, and then everything up here is meant to be doing something completely juxtaposed, and you're like.
Do you get terribly sore calves? I get sore calves because I'm always leaning forward a little bit onto the balls of my feet, trying to keep my energy forward.
No, my legs are always hanging off a stool, so I'm fine. Whoa. I'm always like that.
I'll show you some calf stretches later on. I know what you mean, though. It's because we were talking about authentic movement, which of course doesn't matter if you're doing voice only, and you just make whatever shape you need to make for that voice to come out. And that's an interesting juxtaposition.
I always find with mocap you can't dial it in. You can't dial in a performance. It's everything's been captured. Yeah. So you can get so used to in film or theatre, especially in film, because your framing of just almost going, I'll take a break, or it's just a rehearsal. In mocap, you cannot. If you are filming, it will be captured. There's nothing so humbling. You speak about like being directed. I remember there was one point where I think I'd got tired, and Aliona, all I could hear, like she stopped it and she went, I was like, okay. Normally it was like, okay, good, moving on. Yep, no, love that. We'll take the second one. And she just went, I
can so do that.
I was like, yeah. With the hope, so much hope. She was like, yeah, can we just try that one again? Your body just wasn't reacting the way your voice was. And I was like, yeah, I'm so sorry. I was feeling a bit tired. She was like, let's take a break. It was like,
you can't get away with anything.
Something so humbling and just that monosyllabic. So yeah, and then you're like, okay, you can't zone out, you can't take a break. And in a way, it is the Olympics, it's exhausting, and that's why they'll give you a break every now and again and go, you've been in the studio for like 40 minutes, let's take a little break and let's head back in,
Yeah,
but it's nice.
I think it's a really interesting point, because Doug and I were in there, and he was like, act like a monkey, and I'm like, I have like all this self-consciousness about it, and it's like I can't do it, where you're like, you kind of have to leave your self-consciousness and just be like, I guess, is it very important to kind of feel like very comfortable in your own skin and just sort of, feel
it's actually, in some ways, it's not self-consciousness. I mean, that certainly comes into it. It's more about feeling the freedom to play in that way, I think.
No judgment.
No judgment. That's a good way to put it, yeah.
You can't have any sort of sense of self-pride as an actor. It has to go very quickly, and the fear
or
of
modesty.
cringe. No modesty whatsoever, no.
Not sure what modesty is. What are you talking about here? I think that's the one thing with any form of acting, but I think especially video games, it's all about committing to it, because most of the time with video games, the stakes are always high. Like it's very rare you're going to have a kitchen sink drama. Like it's not your soapy. Well, I mean, soapy is pretty high stakes, but it's not your chat around the coffee table. Like extraordinary things are happening to quite often extraordinary people, not just ordinary people, and you just have to commit to that. And I think that's where I see sometimes actors flounder, is because they're not being brave enough to just like surrender themselves to the story, and I think that's the essential.
Yeah, and do you think that, I guess, video games in general are getting kind of more recognition recently, or is it getting better in terms of being recognized?
Recognised by who, though?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess like awards, but then you have to kind of analyze, do awards really
I think they're being
matter?
appreciated for the performance aspect. It's become so beautiful, so cinematic. Like the stories are so engrossing. I know when I grew up, there was this whole stigma with computer games. It was like, oh, you know, just people alone in their rooms playing these games, trying to kill each other, and it's all very violent. The stories are just so connected now to human experience a lot of the time, that I think it's another way of living another life, another way of learning about people in a very different way, and we do that through all mediums. It's the creative sphere. I think it's becoming appreciated now for what it is. It's just another form of storytelling, and it's really powerful because people are not just alone in their rooms, they are connected to a story, they can motivate it, they can move it, which a lot of the time we're quite passive when we're watching film or theatre. Like, we observe and we go along for the ride, and we are emotively connected in that and confused by it and shocked by it. But with a computer game, we can almost take charge of that, or we have autonomy, or we watch something we can't avoid happening because of things we have put in place. And in a way, it's a bit more like life. It's consequence. And
Things have changed a lot, though.
Yeah, they have.
When I first started doing video games in 1999, I know.
That's right, it was only 10 years
my
ago.
God.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I was definitely an adult then.
I just remember going to castings for film and television, and I was doing loads of video games. And I go to a TV casting, and the casting director says, "So what have you been up to lately?" And all I'd really been up to was video games, but lots of them, and playing lead roles and things like that. And as soon as I say, "Oh, I've just done 2 video games, one of them a lead role," blah, and they just, their eyes went back down to their page, not interested. They meant, what have you done on screen? There was this kind of general feeling when I started out that acting in video games wasn't real acting somehow. And it's been lovely over the last maybe 8 years. It hasn't been very long, actually, that people have started to really take note of the performances of the people who are providing the performances in video games.
Yeah.
People would love characters, people would love voices and stuff, but they never really thought about the person behind the performance.
Or
And
they'd get surprised that one person had done 5 different characters that they
Yeah.
loved, and they're like, oh, yeah, it's...
Yeah, and now video people who perform in video games are being recognized properly as performers. And even now, even if I go in to see a casting director for film or television, and I say something about a video game, they don't do the thing they used to do anymore because they've realized that it's real performance.
Will you give me some introductions, because I found that not to be true in my personal case. Is that shut down, and that's a shame. I was hoping you would say something I'd go bother seeing. I think it's lovely that our players in this interactive medium, they look us up in the credits and they go and meet us at cons, and it's a wonderful thing. But mass media does not really cover us in the way that you would think an industry that's bigger than film, TV, and music put together would. And for me, it seems to be the same 2 stories, which is video games are bad, and it's played by boys in basements learning how to kill people. And there's only 3 games, of course.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for GTA 6 to come out, because the narrative is going to be exactly the same. And good luck to anyone releasing that week. And the other story is games make loads of money.
Yeah.
And that'll be the end of the article.
Yeah.
And I've not found much, there's not much talk about other genre. And, even like the awards, like BAFTA Games Awards, are not televised, which I think is wild. When you're trying for something to permeate the culture, that means your nana needs to watch it too.
Also, there are so
everyone
many
needs to
people
see
who
that.
play computer games. Why does it feel like it's
Yes.
underground when it comes to the actual media of
Again, it seems to be the journalists who would cover it are not being employed. That seems to be what it is.
We need more.
We want more. Or if
We
fans
want
would
more.
like to become games journalists, I think that
Yes.
would, and casting directors, that would actually solve everything.
I think as well, I think there's a little bit of not respecting the video game audience,
Yeah.
because they are beautifully feral. I mean, I got recognised at bloody Amsterdam airport at security yesterday, and I was really travel
That's for
sick.
different reasons.
Yeah, it's all fun and games. It's different. No, but I was really travel sick from my car journey to the airport, and I was green, and then you just get the, I know you from somewhere, and you're like. But yeah, I get recognised quite often, and it's a bit weird because you're like, my face isn't being used. This should not be happening.
But that's a huge
That's social
change.
media, friend.
Yeah.
That's a huge change. When Witcher 3 came out, it took 6 months for one journalist to seek me out.
Wow.
And even after that, it was like a quiet little thing. And so, from my perspective, things have changed so much because when Baldur's Gate 3 came out, all of you were suddenly household names.
Yeah.
At least in the video game,
I was going to
sphere.
We weaponise social media.
Oh, yeah, of course you did.
Hashtag
But
on
you
it.
could.
And there were so many of us, of course,
Yeah.
it all got swept up.
But you could.
That's the thing that's
kind of
changed, isn't it?
So
Yeah.
much has changed.
Yeah.
But also the interest has changed.
Yeah.
Because the narratives are so immersive and they're so good and the characters are so well drawn, people want to know who the actors are who are performing it. And that's just in the last 8 or 9 years. I think it's quite amazing.
That's fair.
I'm thrilled with how it's changing.
It's also the kind of medium where I'll happily watch other people play games because they're just animated so beautifully that sometimes if I don't feel like playing, I'll happily just sit there and enjoy that night. And there's not a lot you can say, sometimes you might have something in the background, but you won't connect to it the same way as if it was a computer game. I didn't grow up playing a lot of them. But as I've grown older and I'm in the actual field of this work now, you just look at the artistry that's involved in it. It's not just a computer game. It's not just gaming. It's filmic, and
It's art.
It's art.
It's art. End of.
And it should be up there. It should be televised with all the other awards. There should be more awards for the whole team that's involved in this creation. I think that's something that should change. And if it is evolving and the change has happened for a very good progressive reason, then I think hopefully we'll see more of that because it should happen. Like the teams involved in the whole gaming world, we couldn't do it alone. The characters I've played are stunning for so many reasons. It's not just because of my performance.
We are just tiny cogs in a huge wheel. Yes, that's the expression. Yeah, but
That's
we
the
are
human expression, isn't it?
like and human today. No, but we are the front of things, and really, I kind of wish that the developers would be the kind of rock stars because the work and passion that they have to channel in is insane. Blood, sweat, and tears, and we kind of not to discredit our work a lot, but we do kind of swan in somewhat. And get the glory.
It's that way in every industry, though.
Yeah.
In film and television, there's so many people behind the camera. The people running sound, the people holding the boom. The gaffers, the sparkies, everybody. The
Hair and
6
makeup.
different assistant directors that are keeping everybody on their toes. You know what I mean? And they're all in the credits.
Oh, can I just say craft? Coffee. People keeping me with coffee in my hand. That's so recommend. Why is my stomach making sounds? It's literally
Thinking about coffee.
I was going to say, sorry, I don't want to rush you guys.
Yeah.
I think we have maybe 5 minutes, but I did want to
Sorry.
touch upon. Have you kind of felt the impact of AI on the industry?
On the industry, I've noticed it so much. You can't get away from it. People are using. I think it's like anything you can say about a tool. I think if you use it right, it can be really beneficial. But I think the human connection to our own creativity is something that cannot be replaced by AI. And that's where the danger becomes. I think when and I hate using this word because I don't mean it glibly, when people become complacent and lazy as a way to cut corners, they're using AI to basically try and get a vision of something which actually has so much more substance and heart and earthiness behind it when it is constructed by people, because that's how we connect to each other, through people. We use technology and tools to facilitate the thing we have in our heads. We don't use that to be the things that we have in our heads. that needs to have more of an organic process behind it. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I think there can be a good with AI. I just think right now it seems to be almost like we take advantage of it to get to a greater aim. Like my partner's a filmmaker and he might use it just to get mood boards, but he's not making
That's
it
very different,
yeah
isn't it?
it's very
From
different,
them
like to
firing
get
an artist,
yeah,
so you can use stolen art to create
it's
something.
it's a weird thing, like he'll do it just to get his own ideas, but then he's also an artist, he does his own storyboards, so then he'll be like, right, I need to draw it according to that to see like perspective. But then you see people making films with AI and you're like, that's where it becomes a little bit too much for me. I'm like, we have so many wonderful creatives who can work together to make something that's so much more special. Like,
I don't want perfect in my art.
No.
I do not want it. And I find it all a bit embarrassing and stupid, frankly. Don't replace humans with AI. That is dumb as hell. The reason why Baldur's Gate 3, Expedition 33, The Witcher are all so so beloved is because we infuse our stories, our humanness into that. The writers do. Like, look at Expedition 33 and how Jen and Guillaume came up with this incredible, beautiful story that has moved millions of people. That is not AI. That is their story, their history. And once we start taking that away, what have we got? Shame.
I get asked about this a lot, and I feel like the turkey is going to say, I don't like Christmas, right? It's obvious. But let's remember, AI is affecting every industry.
Yeah.
Your industry. I met a cabbie the other day who said his bank job, he got replaced his bank job by AI. So as much as like the actors get the front line and everyone think it just affects the actors, it doesn't just affect the actors, it's affecting everyone. But people hate it. They really hate AI, and I think there's something in us, we don't like to be tricked. We don't like to feel that we've been fooled. So there's always quite an angry outburst when people find out that something, let's go back to our sphere, something's been created by AI. They get quite angry, and I'm seeing it more often now that they hide the fact that it's been created by AI because it makes people angry. So that's going to be interesting over the next few years, because if the consumers aren't interested, it's going to die a death. There's two groups of people that want AI, those that pay for it, and people with no creativity in their bodies, right? And can't see that, that there may be some human input from them would be what we want to see. We want to see the flaws. These stories are about what it means to be human. And so to replace that, I don't know if you've seen, there's a guy on Instagram who's been directing AI actors, and it's terrifying, right? It's just bad. They're just bad actors.
I don't know how that phrase has even got directing AI actors.
Yeah, it's really bad. I'll show you later.
Yeah,
oh, thanks.
It's a really good watch.
It's when he pulls out the gun at the end of his audition, you go, right, what have you been trained on? But yeah, that's the other thing, is the ethical impact of it as well. It's it uses stolen art. And it uses a lot of energy to run servers. A lot of those servers are placed in very deprived parts of the world. And it's just gross all round, and very few people actually want it. So I feel like I'm preaching to the converted a lot of the time. The people who are paying for it don't care about my opinion, and that's fine. But we'll see, won't we?
I think there could be a goose. I know we've got five minutes. I can't remember where I read it, so please don't quote me, even though we're being filmed. AI, if it is a way of like searching through everything and finding the information we need and generating these images, why can't we use it for science? Why can't we use it for medical exploration?
I mean, it is.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
We do.
Use
and
it
in
just
fact, they're finding now that AI is incredibly useful at diagnosing cancer far earlier than doctors
because it
can do
presupposes by looking at all the evidence what that might be.
A relative of mine has type 1 diabetes, and it's essential for them because it really helps, they're living without an organ that works, and that helps. So
we're going back to AI as a tool.
But as a tool, not replacing creativity.
Yeah.
Done.
I know, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can I be embarrassing?